James O'Keefe with Project Veritas joins us now, and I am just yeah, I'm speechless on this, James. I'm absolutely speechless. I'm actually I'm looking at some of your video footage, and James has this out on Twitter. I mean, it just came out just a little bit ago. Tell me about this late, because this is now the second worker that the whistleblower that you've been talking to, James.
Yes, Dana, we've released three whistleblowers, one in Michigan, two in Pennsylvania, and this whistleblower in Pennsylvania from the Erie, Pennsylvania, one of the others in another part of Pennsylvania have said that the postmaster was instructing the colleagues, the supervisor, to backdate the ballots from November 4th to November 3rd, which is against the law. The ballots have to be postmarked by 8 o'clock November 3rd. So this happened in Michigan, it happened in Pennsylvania. And apparently the orders came down from the central hub, USPS, in Pennsylvania from Pittsburgh. So these postmasters are taking orders from somebody else. That's what I'm hearing from these two individuals. Now, we do have a breaking news development, but right 5 minutes before I came on your show, this guy in Erie, Pennsylvania is willing to go on the record. He just did an interview with me on the record. That's while he was delivering his mail, he allowed my colleague to videotape him, and he said under his real name what they were doing, which is pretty significant. Those videos are blurred out, they're shadowed, but he's willing to go on the record, and he has done that, and he's willing to testify under oath that he overheard this occur. And obviously, it could be a very big deal. It could be hundreds of thousands of ballots that are being accepted after the legal deadline. The election, that's not supposed to happen. That's illegal.
Yeah, that's incredibly illegal. And we were assured, no, this is not going to happen, because we're going to look at that they're going to be, all votes are going to be counted, and they're going to be within the legal election period, which clearly isn't happening, because this is all the people that have been, James, raising concern about the legitimacy of these ballots that are being cast, and then there's the argument over the ones that do not have postmarks on them, so there's no way to verify exactly the time that they were cast. They've been accused by media, by elected Democrats, that they're conspiracy theorists, that they're just trying to incite more unrest and more tension. This is more undeniable proof of this. This isn't just at this point speculation. You have people on record. I mean, you have videos of this.
This guy's willing to lose his job. He knows that he probably will. And the federal investigators from the Inspector General's office contacted the one guy in Michigan. The Postal Worker Inspection Department contacted this man in Erie, Pennsylvania this morning. He even informs me that he's they're already bringing up old things in his job against him. They're basically already trying to get him fired. So these are people who are willing to risk their careers to showcase the fraud. And yes, Dana, the people in the media and our government, our FBI, our media, they believe with kind of a religious sincerity that fraud is not possible. They have an orthodoxy that prevents them from acknowledging fraud. It's kind of ironic that journalists are telling us that fraud cannot and does not occur. And of course fraud occurs. Fraud occurs on a pretty systemic level. We saw that in Minneapolis with this story we did with Ilhan Omar, and they were cashed for ballots. We saw that in Texas with Raquel Rodriguez and the ballot harvesting, which is illegal in Texas, thousands of dollars per vote, or $55,000 per 5,000 votes. So I think it's deeply ironic. I think they're sabotaging their own careers and their own credibility, because people are hungry for exposure. They want to know what's going on. They want to see if there's any malfeasance. So naturally, people come to Project Veritas, tips at protonmail.com. I mean, right now, we've gotten 10,000 tips in the last 48 hours. We have multiple whistleblowers who want to go on the record. There's just nowhere for them to go except to places like us. And we're telling the stories, Dana. This guy will go on the record in Pennsylvania. It should be very interesting to see the response to that.
Wow. I just, and this is, I just remember in 2016, this was all the stuff that Republicans were accused of doing. This was stuff that the Trump campaign was accused of doing. And here we are in another situation where it's actually Democrats that have been carrying this out. I mean, this blows my mind. And especially after learning about the machines, the signature checking machines in Nevada that are at best 35% accurate. And then here, there's no way. And that's the thing, James, tell people how explain for them if you would, because you've been there, you've been following this, talking to these people. There is no way, if you have a ballot that does not have a postmark, there is no other alternative way to double check and make sure that it was cast in the certain period that it was supposed to be cast in. I mean, when I was looking at what was said by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, it was basically, this is an abridgment, but it was like, go on the honor system. That's what you have.
Right. And these postmasters are telling these officials, these USPS workers, to separate the ballots and continue collecting them. And this is what the latest whistleblower we just released 2 hours ago said. They were separating the ballots. They were telling right now they're still collecting these ballots, and they're backdating them. The question is, how many of those ballots are going to be counted?
Right.
And that's what I was asked yesterday, and I don't know what the purpose of this would be, but not to count them. But you're talking about an election that is literally a few thousand votes in separation right now. I don't know if it'll be decided today in Pennsylvania. Probably go on for days, if not weeks. So I think it's very important. I mean, this is a pretty significant constitutional crisis when the U.S. Postal Service is stamping the wrong date on ballots so that they can be counted. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, and the fact the guy's going to go on the record and lose his job and testify under oath.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's many more where he came from. I just can't believe that our beloved friends and brothers in the media are not willing to actually investigate this. And I think that's the real issue, because the media, if it wasn't so bad, this election would not be as close as it is. It's actually shocking that the election is so close in spite of the media.
James, what can people do? And that's the question. When I was speaking with Adam Laxalt, I don't know what anyone can do to reconcile this issue at this point. There's not, an agency out there. I mean, what would you have, an inspector general? I mean, what can vote?
Yeah,
what can voters
they're
do?
not going to do anything. The people that are investigating, that's all bureaucracy, and they're just going to go through the motions. And I know that. And I said to the people, this is the real question. What can I do? Is that everyone's contacting me now and saying I want to help. Well, the most important thing is to get firsthand audio-visual evidence of fraud. And you may be saying, well, the election's already happened. No, it's still happening. They're still counting. They're still, doing things like this. They're backdating ballots, and suddenly, Biden surges ahead, which may be in the right, or it may be due to fraud. So I think the thing that citizens need to do is everyone carries around one of these things. Remember, Andrew Breitbart told us?
Yep.
It's an electronic civil war. So this thing that you carry around with you has an audio function on it, has a video function on it. And if you're in a jurisdiction where it's legal to record, if you're in a public place and you see something, it's time for you to document it yourself. You can send it to me if you want. We can help you out. Veritas Tips at Proton Mail. You see the address underneath my face there. Or you can just do it yourself. But I think citizens have to be the journalists. They have to go out and confront people and go through dumpsters. And we've found ballots in dumpsters that have been filled out, that have been thrown away improperly, that we're trying to corroborate. So I think the citizens have to do the job. And if there's more postal workers out there, I'm sure there are listening to this. We've had 5 or 6 reach out to us even today that want to talk to us on the record. Veritas Tips at protonmail.com. Reach out to us. The time is now. These are the times that try men's souls, to quote Thomas Paine. So the time is of the essence, and I would encourage you to reach out to us today.
Absolutely. James O'Keefe, always appreciate you, a warrior for truth and Project Veritas. We'll keep following your coverage on this. James, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Of course.